Introduction. Why money is emotional, not mathematical. Most people believe money problems are about math. They think, if I just earn more, I'll be fine. If I just budget better, everything will work out. If I just learn to invest, I'll be wealthy. But then they earn more and still feel broke. They budget perfectly and still overspend. They learn about investing and never start. Because money is not a math problem, it's a psychology problem. Your relationship with money was built long before you had any. It was formed in childhood, watching your parents fight about bills, hearing, "We can't afford that," absorbing the belief that money is scarce, dangerous, or corrupt. It was shaped by the culture around you, the stories you heard, and the identity you built around wealth and worth. By the time you're an adult, your financial behavior is driven by subconscious patterns you didn't choose and probably don't even see. You sabotage opportunities without knowing why. You overspend when stressed. You undercharge for your work. You avoid looking at your bank account. You feel guilt when you succeed and shame when you fail. None of this is about intelligence. It's about wiring. This audiobook is not about tips and tricks. It's not a get-rich-quick manual. It's about rewiring the subconscious beliefs, emotional patterns, and identity structures that control your financial behavior. It's about understanding why you do what you do with money and how to change it at the root. You will learn how scarcity programming was installed in your mind and how to uninstall it. You'll discover why self-sabotage happens and how to stop it. You'll see the difference between how broke people think and how wealthy people think, and it has nothing to do with income. You'll learn to identify emotional spending, set financial boundaries, and build wealth habits that compound over time. You'll understand the psychology of earning more, asking for more, and believing you deserve more, and you'll walk away with a clear blueprint for financial freedom, not as a distant fantasy, but as an inevitable result of who you're becoming. This is not motivation. This is transformation. By the end of this audiobook, money will no longer control you. You will control money, not through force or hustle, but through clarity, discipline, and a fundamentally new identity. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Hidden Psychology That Controls Your Finances. 1. Micro-story: Daniel earns $80,000 a year. On paper, he should be comfortable, but every month he's stressed. His credit card balance climbs. His savings account stays empty. He buys things he doesn't need. A new jacket, another subscription, takeout 5 nights a week. He tells himself he'll stop. He makes a budget. It lasts 3 days. One evening, after another impulsive purchase, he sits in his car and asks himself, "Why do I keep doing this?" The answer isn't laziness. It's not stupidity. It's deeper. Daniel grew up watching his parents struggle. Money was always tight. Every expense was a crisis. He remembers the tension, the fear, the shame of wearing hand-me-downs. As a child, he promised himself, "When I grow up, I'll never feel that way again." Now he earns more than his parents ever did. But instead of security, he feels compelled to spend, proving to himself over and over that he's not poor anymore. Every purchase is a small rebellion against the scarcity of his childhood. But rebellion doesn't build wealth, it drains it. Daniel's problem isn't income, it's identity. Until he rewires the belief that spending equals safety, he'll never break free. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Your financial behavior is not random. It's the output of a psychological system built over decades, most of it outside your conscious awareness. Here's how it works. Identity drives behavior. You act in alignment with who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with money, you will unconsciously create struggle, even when you have the resources to avoid it. If you see yourself as not a money person, you'll avoid learning, earning, or investing. Identity is the operating system. Everything else is just software. Beliefs shape decisions. Your beliefs about money were installed early. Rich people are greedy. Money is the root of all evil. We don't come from money. You have to work hard to earn anything. These beliefs, often absorbed without question, dictate how you earn, spend, save, and invest. If you believe money is scarce, you'll hoard or waste it. If you believe you don't deserve wealth, you'll sabotage opportunities to gain it. Habits. Execute the program. Once identity and beliefs are in place, habits automate the behavior. Spending when stressed, avoiding financial planning, undercharging for your work, buying things to feel better. These aren't conscious choices, they're reflexes. Your subconscious is running a script you didn't write. Emotions override logic. Most financial decisions are emotional, not rational. Fear, shame, guilt, anxiety, and the need for validation all trigger spending, avoidance, or self-sabotage. You know you shouldn't buy it, but you feel bad, and the purchase offers temporary relief. Logic is slow, emotion is fast, emotion wins. Reinforcement loops. Lock it in. Every time you act on these patterns, you reinforce them. Spend to feel better, temporary relief, guilt, more stress, spend again. The loop deepens. Over time, the behavior becomes automatic, invisible, and incredibly hard to break without conscious intervention. The formula looks like this. Childhood conditioning, beliefs about money, identity, I'm bad with money, habits, overspending, avoidance, outcomes, debt, stress, scarcity. Most people try to fix the outcomes. They budget, they cut expenses, they read about investing. But they never address the root, identity and belief. If you don't change who you believe you are with money, no strategy will stick. You'll always return to the baseline your subconscious believes you deserve. Real financial transformation begins with psychological rewiring. Everything else is downstream. 3 real-life scenarios. Relationship with spending. Unconscious pattern. Buys things to feel successful, loved, or worthy. Uses shopping as emotional regulation. Conscious shift. Recognizes the emotional trigger. Pauses, asks, am I spending to solve a problem or to avoid a feeling? Earning and self-worth. Unconscious pattern. Undercharges for work. Feels guilty asking for more. Believes, I'm lucky to have this opportunity. Conscious shift. Reframes value. I provide solutions. I charge what I'm worth, not what I fear. Avoidance and anxiety. Unconscious pattern. Avoids checking bank account, ignores bills, feels paralyzed by financial decisions. Conscious shift. Faces the numbers without judgment. This is data, not a reflection of my worth. Family guilt and boundary violations. Unconscious pattern. Lends money out of obligation. Can't say no. Feels responsible for others' financial problems. Conscious shift. Sets boundaries. I care about you, but I'm protecting my financial health. Fear of success. Unconscious pattern. Sabotages opportunities. Stops just before breakthrough. Believes people like me don't get wealthy. Conscious shift. Challenges the belief. Wealth is available to anyone willing to build it, including me. Impulse buying. Unconscious pattern. Bored, stressed, or anxious. Opens app. Buys something. Brief relief. Guilt. Conscious shift. Recognizes the pattern. Delays purchase by 24 hours. Reflects, do I need this or am I avoiding something? 4. Scripts. What to say, what to think. My financial behavior reflects my beliefs. I'm changing my beliefs. I am someone who builds wealth intelligently and patiently. Money is a tool, not a measure of my worth. I do not spend to escape emotion. I face my finances with clarity, not fear. I am worthy of financial security and freedom. My past does not dictate my financial future. I act from abundance, not scarcity. I respect money by managing it consciously. Wealth is built through identity, not income. 5 practical exercises. Exercise 1. Money belief audit. Write down every belief you have about money. Money is. Rich people are. I am. Circle the beliefs that limit you. For each, write a new belief that empowers you. Exercise 2. Identity declaration. Every morning for 30 days, say aloud, I am someone who manages money wisely and builds wealth consistently. Let your actions follow your declaration. Exercise 3. Spending pause. Before any non-essential purchase, wait 24 hours. During that time, ask, is this solving a problem, or am I avoiding a feeling? Track how often the urge fades. Exercise 4. Financial mirror session. Once a week, sit down and review your finances without judgment. Balances, debts, spending patterns. Observe, don't shame, just see. Awareness is the first step to change. Exercise 5. Childhood money story. Write about your earliest memory involving money. What emotions came up? What beliefs were formed? How do those beliefs show up in your life today? This is the map to your wiring. Chapter 2. Scarcity programming. How you were trained to stay small. Micro story. Maya is 34 years old. She has a master's degree, a stable job, and no debt. On paper, she's doing well. But she can't shake the feeling that money will disappear at any moment. She buys the cheapest groceries even when she can afford better. She hesitates to replace worn-out shoes. She feels anxious every time she spends money, even on necessities. Meanwhile, she has $30,000 sitting untouched in a checking account, earning nothing because investing feels risky. Her friends don't understand. You're fine, they say. You have savings. Relax. But Maya can't relax, because when she was 7, her father lost his job. The family went from comfortable to crisis overnight. She remembers her mother crying over bills. She remembers the fear in the house, the whispered arguments, the shame of asking for help. That experience carved a belief into her brain. Money is never safe. It can vanish at any time. You must hold tight to every dollar. Decades later, Maya earns well, but her nervous system is still stuck in that childhood fear. She doesn't see abundance. She sees danger. This is scarcity programming, and until she identifies it and rewires it, no amount of money will ever feel like enough. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Scarcity programming is the invisible script running in the background of your financial life. It was installed early, through family, culture, and experience, and it shapes every decision you make about money, often without your awareness. Here's how it works. Childhood conditioning. Your money mindset was formed before age 7. You absorbed how your parents talked about money, how they felt about it, how they behaved around it. If money was a source of stress, fear, or conflict, your brain learned money, danger. If your family believed there's never enough, you internalized scarcity as truth. These beliefs weren't taught explicitly. They were absorbed, wordlessly, emotionally, deeply. Generational trauma. Scarcity programming often spans generations. Your grandparents lived through a depression, war, or poverty. They taught your parents to fear loss, to hoard, to never take risks. Your parents, even if they earned more, carried that fear forward and passed it to you. You inherited anxiety you didn't earn, beliefs that aren't even yours. But they control you all the same. Cultural narratives. Society reinforces scarcity constantly. Money doesn't grow on trees. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. You have to struggle to succeed. These phrases aren't just sayings, they're programming. Repeated enough times, they become belief. Belief becomes identity. Identity becomes destiny. The scarcity lens. When you operate from scarcity, you see the world through a lens of lack. You focus on what's missing, what could go wrong, what you might lose. You hoard instead of invest. You avoid instead of act. You play defense, never offense. Scarcity doesn't just limit your money, it limits your vision, your confidence, and your willingness to take intelligent risks. Neural wiring. Scarcity activates the brain's threat detection system. When you believe resources are limited, your amygdala, the fear center, stays on high alert. Every financial decision feels like survival. This keeps you in fight or flight mode, which shuts down the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning, creativity, and strategic thinking. In other words, scarcity makes you dumber with money. The self-fulfilling prophecy. Scarcity thinking creates scarcity outcomes. If you believe money is scarce, you'll undercharge, avoid opportunities, and make fear-based decisions. You'll reject abundance when it shows up because it doesn't match your internal narrative. You'll unconsciously create the very lack you fear, not because you're broken, but because your subconscious is trying to keep your external reality aligned with your internal beliefs. The formula: childhood fear or lack. Belief: there's never enough. Identity: I'm always struggling. Behavior: hoarding, avoidance, anxiety. Outcome: financial stagnation. Scarcity programming isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility to dismantle it. 3 real-life scenarios. Hoarding money. Scarcity response: keeps large sums in low-interest accounts, terrified to invest. What if I lose it? Abundance shift. Learns that intelligent investing is how money grows, takes calculated risks, trusts the process. Underpricing work. Scarcity response: charges less than they're worth. I'm just grateful for the work. Abundance shift. Recognizes value, sets prices based on worth, not fear of rejection. Avoiding opportunities. Scarcity response: turns down promotions, business ideas, or contracts because it's too risky. Abundance shift. Sees opportunity as expansion. Evaluates rationally, not emotionally. Acts despite fear. Guilt around success. Scarcity response: feels guilty earning more than parents or peers. Unconsciously sabotages income growth. Abundance shift. Reframe success. My success doesn't take from others. It expands what's possible. Fear of spending. Scarcity response: denies basic needs or reasonable comforts even when affordable. Lives in constant deprivation. Abundance shift. Distinguishes between waste and investment. Spends wisely on things that improve life or generate returns. Panic over small losses. Scarcity response: loses $50 and spirals into anxiety. This is the beginning of the end. Abundance shift. Sees setbacks as part of the process. This is temporary. I can rebuild. 4 scripts: what to say, what to think. Scarcity is a belief, not a fact. I was trained to fear money. I am retraining myself to trust abundance. There is enough. There has always been enough. I release the financial fears that are not mine. Money flows when I operate from clarity, not fear. I am safe even as I grow. Scarcity served my family. Abundance will serve me. I do not hoard. I circulate, invest, and expand. The world is not running out. Opportunity is infinite. I am worthy of financial ease and stability. 5 practical exercises. Exercise 1. Scarcity story rewrite. Write down the scarcity beliefs you inherited. Money is hard to get. There's never enough. For each, write a counter-belief rooted in evidence from your own life. I have always found a way. I have earned and grown before. Exercise 2. Spend without guilt. Once a week, spend $10–20 on something that brings you joy. guilt-free, not as waste but as practice trusting abundance. Notice the fear, sit with it, let it pass. Exercise 3, Abundance Evidence Journal. Every evening for 30 days, write down 3 pieces of evidence that abundance exists in your life. A paycheck, a meal, a friend. Train your brain to see what's already here. Exercise 4, Fear Inventory. List your financial fears. I'll lose everything. I'll end up like my parents. For each fear, ask, is this true? Or is this inherited programming? Separate reality from conditioning. Exercise 5, Generational Release Ritual. Write a letter to your past, parents, grandparents, ancestors, acknowledging their struggle and releasing their scarcity. I honor your survival. I release your fear. I choose abundance. Burn or bury the letter. Symbolic closure rewires the subconscious. Chapter 3, The Wealth Identity, How Rich People Think Differently. Micro story. 2 men sit in the same coffee shop. Both are 28 years old. Both come from middle-class families. Both have similar education. The first man, Jason, earns $55,000 a year. He feels stuck. He complains about his boss, his rent, the cost of living. He buys a new phone on credit because everyone has one. He watches Netflix every night and scrolls social media for hours. He talks about starting a business someday but never does. The second man, Marcus, earns $52,000 a year, less than Jason. But Marcus sees his salary as a starting point, not a ceiling. He wakes up at 5:30 a.m. to work on a side project. He reads books on negotiation, sales, and investing. He tracks every dollar. He delayed buying a car for 2 years so he could invest in an online course that taught him a high-income skill. Now he freelances on weekends and his side income is growing. 5 years later, Jason still earns $60,000. He's deeper in debt, still complaining, still waiting. Marcus earns $180,000. He owns a small business. He has investments. He travels. He's calm about money. What's the difference? Not talent, not luck, not even starting capital. The difference is identity. Jason sees himself as an employee, a victim of circumstance, someone waiting for life to give him a break. Marcus sees himself as a builder, an investor, someone who creates opportunity instead of waiting for it. Wealth isn't about the money you have, it's about who you believe you are. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Rich people don't think differently because they have money. They have money because they think differently. Wealth begins in the mind, as identity, perspective, and belief systems, long before it shows up in a bank account. Here's what separates the wealth identity from the scarcity identity. Ownership versus victimhood. Wealthy people take full responsibility for their financial outcomes. They don't blame the economy, their parents, or their circumstances. They ask, what can I control? What can I improve? Broke people externalize responsibility. They wait for rescue, for permission, for the right time. Ownership is the foundation of wealth. Victimhood is the foundation of stagnation. Builder mindset. Wealthy people see themselves as builders. They create, invest, and compound. They ask, how can I build something that generates value over time? Broke people see themselves as consumers. They spend, extract, and deplete. The builder creates assets. The consumer creates liabilities. Long-term thinking. Wealthy people delay gratification. They sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. They invest, save, and build systems that compound. Broke people optimize for short-term comfort. They spend now and worry later. Wealth is the result of years of small, intelligent decisions. Poverty is the result of years of small, impulsive ones. Abundance lens. Wealthy people operate from abundance. They believe opportunities are infinite. They invest, collaborate, and take calculated risks. Broke people operate from scarcity. They hoard, compete, and avoid risk. Abundance creates expansion. Scarcity creates contraction. Value creation versus time trading. Wealthy people ask, how can I create value at scale? They build businesses, invest in assets, and leverage systems. Broke people ask, how many hours do I need to work? They trade time for money, an inherently limited model. You can't scale hours, but you can scale value. Self-perception and worth. Wealthy people believe they are worth investing in. They pay for education, mentorship, health, and growth. Broke people see self-investment as indulgent or risky. They undervalue themselves and, as a result, under-earn. Your income rarely exceeds your self-worth. Problem solvers, not excuse makers. Wealthy people see obstacles as puzzles to solve. They ask, how can I make this work? Broke people see obstacles as reasons to quit. They say, it's too hard, I don't have the resources. Resourcefulness beats resources every time. Financial literacy is non-negotiable. Wealthy people educate themselves. They read, learn, and apply. They understand cash flow, taxes, investing, and leverage. Broke people avoid financial education. They say, I'm not a numbers person. Ignorance is expensive. Knowledge compounds. The wealth identity doesn't require money to start. It requires a shift in how you see yourself and your relationship to opportunity, risk, time, and value. When you change your identity, your behavior changes. When your behavior changes, your results change. Wealth follows identity, always. 3. Real-life scenarios. Reaction to setback. Scarcity identity loses a client. This always happens to me, I'm unlucky. Wealth identity loses a client. What can I learn? How do I improve my offer? Earning opportunity. Scarcity identity. Offered a high-paying project. I'm not qualified. They'll find out I'm a fraud. Wealth identity. Offered a high-paying project. I'll figure it out. This is growth. Spending decision. Scarcity identity. Buys new clothes to feel better after a bad week. Temporary relief. Long-term debt. Wealth identity. Buys a course or book that improves a skill. Temporary cost. Long-term returns. Time allocation. Scarcity identity watches TV 3 hours a night. I deserve to relax. Wealth identity spends 3 hours a week building a side income. I deserve to grow. Risk perception. Scarcity identity sees investment as gambling, avoids all risk, stays stagnant. Wealth identity sees calculated risk as necessary, learns to evaluate, invests intelligently. Self-worth and negotiation. Scarcity identity accepts first offer, grateful to be chosen, under-earns for years. Wealth identity negotiates, knows their value, earns what they're worth. 4. Scripts, what to say, what to think. I am a builder, not a consumer. Wealth is my natural state. I align my actions with that truth. I do not wait for permission. I create opportunity. I am responsible for my financial future. I invest in myself because I am worth it. I think long-term. I build for years, not days. I solve problems. I do not make excuses. My worth is not tied to my current bank balance. I operate from abundance. Opportunity is infinite. I am becoming the person wealth flows to naturally. 5. Practical exercises. Exercise. 1. Identity statement. Write a 1-sentence identity statement and read it every morning for 90 days. Example. I am someone who builds wealth through discipline, value creation, and intelligent risk. Exercise 2. Reverse role model. Identify one person who embodies the wealth identity. Study how they think, speak, and act. Write down 3 behaviors they have that you don't, then adopt one this month. Exercise 3. Decision filter. Before any financial decision, ask, would the wealthy version of me make this choice? Let future you guide present you. Exercise 4. Weekly value creation. Every week, do one thing that creates value beyond your job. Write an article, build a skill, offer a service. Train your brain to think like a builder. Exercise 5. Financial education ritual. Commit to 20 minutes daily of financial learning. Books, podcasts, courses. Treat financial literacy like a professional skill because it is. Chapter 4. Self-Sabotage. Why you block money without realizing it. Micro story. Alicia is talented, everyone says so. She's a graphic designer with a strong portfolio, glowing testimonials, and steady demand for her work. She should be thriving. But every time she's on the verge of a breakthrough, something happens. A high-paying client reaches out. She delays responding. By the time she replies, they've hired someone else. She's invited to pitch a major project. She underprepares. The pitch falls flat. She plans to raise her rates. The week comes, and she doesn't do it. She tells herself, maybe next month. Her friends are frustrated. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? Alicia doesn't know. She's not lazy. She's not incapable. But something inside her tightens every time success gets close. A voice whispers, "You're not ready. You'll mess it up. People will see you're a fraud." One night, she finally admits the truth. She's terrified of success. If she succeeds, expectations will rise. She'll have to perform at a higher level. People will watch her, judge her. She might fail publicly. And deep down, she believes, I don't deserve this. People like me don't get to have this. So she sabotages, not consciously, not deliberately, but consistently. This is self-sabotage, and it's one of the most common and invisible blocks to wealth. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Self-sabotage is not a character flaw, it's a defense mechanism. Your subconscious believes it's protecting you from failure, judgment, responsibility, or success itself. Understanding why you sabotage is the first step to stopping it. Here's how it works. Fear of success. Success brings visibility, responsibility, and higher expectations. If you've built an identity around struggle, success feels like a threat. It means leaving behind the familiar. It means proving yourself at a higher level. It means risking failure after success, which feels worse than never succeeding at all. So your subconscious creates obstacles. You procrastinate. You underperform. You stay small because small feels safe. Fear of failure. If you never truly try, you never truly fail. Sabotage gives you an out. I didn't get the result because I didn't prepare, didn't try, didn't follow through. It protects your ego, but it also keeps you stuck. Fear of failure prevents you from taking the risks required for growth. You avoid opportunities, play it safe, and rationalize inaction as wisdom. Imposter syndrome. You believe you're not qualified, not smart enough, not experienced enough. You feel like a fraud. So when opportunity shows up, you panic. They'll find out I don't belong here. This belief drives you to shrink, hide, or reject opportunity before it rejects you. Imposter syndrome isn't about skill, it's about self-worth. And until you address it, talent means nothing. Guilt and unworthiness. Many people carry subconscious guilt around wealth. I don't deserve this. People will think I'm greedy. I'll betray my roots if I succeed. If you believe success makes you bad, selfish, or disloyal, your subconscious will block it. Not because you're broken, but because it's trying to keep you aligned with your values. Until you reframe wealth as neutral or positive, you'll sabotage every chance you get. Comfort in struggle. Struggle can become identity. If you've been the one who struggles for years, success feels like losing yourself. Your friends relate to your struggle, your family expects it. Your identity is built on it. Success would require becoming someone new, and that's terrifying. So you stay stuck not because you can't succeed, but because you don't know who you'd be without the struggle. Upper limit problem. Gay Hendricks identified this. Everyone has an internal thermostat for how much success, wealth, or happiness they believe they can handle. When you exceed that limit, your subconscious creates a crisis to bring you back down. You get sick. You pick a fight. You make a bad decision. It's not bad luck. It's regulation. Your system is pulling you back to baseline. Unconscious loyalty. If your parents struggled financially, succeeding where they failed can feel like betrayal. You might unconsciously limit yourself to stay loyal to them, to not leave them behind. This loyalty is invisible but powerful. It sabotages without your awareness. The pattern looks like this. Opportunity arises, subconscious fear activates, sabotage behavior, procrastination, underperformance, avoidance, opportunity lost, relief because the threat is gone, regret, repeat. Breaking the cycle requires awareness, self-compassion, and deliberate rewiring. You're not sabotaging because you're weak. You're sabotaging because part of you is afraid, and that part needs to be heard, understood, and reprogrammed. 3 real-life scenarios. Procrastination, before opportunity. Sabotage, big meeting tomorrow, stays up late binge-watching shows, shows up tired, unprepared. Awareness recognizes the pattern, asks, what am I afraid of? Prepares anyway, shows up ready. Undercharging. Sabotage, about to send a proposal, lowers the price at the last second. I don't want them to say no. Awareness, sees the fear of rejection, sends the proposal at full price, trusts their value. Rejecting opportunity. Sabotage, offered a promotion, immediately lists reasons they're not qualified, declines. Awareness, pauses, challenges imposter syndrome, accepts, figures it out along the way. Burning bridges. Sabotage, things are going well, picks a fight with a client or partner, relationship implodes. Awareness, notices upper limit pattern, asks, am I scared of success? Works through the fear instead of acting it out. Neglecting. Follow up. Sabotage, great conversation with potential client, never follows up. I'll do it later, never does. Awareness, tracks the avoidance, sets immediate reminder, follows up within 24 hours. Overcommitting and crashing. Sabotage takes on 10 projects, burns out, delivers poorly, reputation suffers. Awareness, learns to pace, protects capacity, delivers quality over quantity. 4 scripts, what to say, what to think. I am safe even as I succeed. Success does not make me a bad person. I do not need to sabotage to stay loyal to my past. I am worthy of opportunities I haven't earned yet. Fear is information, not instruction. I do not have to be perfect to be deserving. I can succeed and still be myself. I release guilt around outgrowing struggle. My success does not take from others. I trust myself to handle what comes with growth. 5. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Sabotage pattern journal. For 2 weeks, track every time you avoid, delay, or underperform. Write what happened and what you felt. Patterns will emerge. Awareness breaks the cycle. Exercise 2. Fear dialogue. When you notice sabotage, write a conversation between your conscious self and the fearful part. Ask, what are you afraid of? Listen. Respond with compassion, not criticism. Exercise 3. Success rehearsal. Visualize yourself succeeding and handling it well. See yourself confident, capable, and calm. Your brain doesn't distinguish vividly imagined experience from real experience. Rehearse success until it feels safe. Exercise 4. Upper limit reset. Identify your current success thermostat. Where do things tend to fall apart? Write a new upper limit, one level higher. Practice holding that level without self-destruction. Exercise 5. Permission letter. Write yourself a letter giving yourself permission to succeed without guilt, fear, or sabotage. Read it daily for 30 days. Let the message sink into your subconscious. Chapter 5. Emotional spending, the silent addiction. Micro story. Lena has a ritual. Every time she has a bad day at work, she opens her phone and scrolls through online stores. Within minutes, she's added 3 items to her cart: a dress she doesn't need, a skincare product she'll never use, a gadget that looked appealing in the moment. She clicks buy. For about an hour, she feels better. The anticipation of the package arriving gives her something to look forward to. The transaction itself, the act of choosing, purchasing, owning, offers a brief sense of control in a life that often feels out of control. But the next morning, guilt sets in. She checks her credit card balance and winces. Another $150 gone. She promises herself she'll stop. She even deletes the shopping apps. A week later, after a stressful meeting, she reinstalls them. Lena doesn't have a shopping problem. She has an emotional regulation problem. She's not buying things, she's buying relief. And like any addiction, the relief is temporary, the cost is real, and the cycle is hard to break. This is emotional spending, and it's one of the most common and least discussed financial behaviors that drain wealth. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Emotional spending isn't about the things you buy. It's about what you're trying to feel or stop feeling. It's a coping mechanism, not a shopping habit. And until you address the emotions driving it, no budget will save you. Here's how emotional spending works. The dopamine loop. Shopping triggers a dopamine release, the same neurotransmitter involved in addiction. Anticipation, choice, and purchase all activate the brain's reward system. This creates a temporary high. The problem? The high fades fast, so you chase it again. Over time, your brain associates spending with relief. The loop deepens. Shopping becomes your go-to response to stress, sadness, boredom, or anxiety. Emotions as triggers. Most emotional spending is triggered by specific feelings: stress, loneliness, boredom, anger, inadequacy, or emptiness. The spending isn't random, it's reactive. Bad day at work, buy something. Fight with partner, buy something. Scrolling social media and feeling behind, buy something. The purchase offers a temporary escape from the emotion, but it doesn't resolve it. The feeling returns, often worse because now there's guilt and financial stress on top of it. The illusion of control. When life feels chaotic, spending offers a sense of control. You choose, you decide, you act. It's empowering briefly, but it's a false sense of control. You're not managing the situation, you're avoiding it. Real control comes from facing the emotion, not numbing it. Identity and status. For some, spending is about identity. Buying certain brands, clothes, or gadgets signals status, success, or belonging. If you feel insecure, inadequate, or invisible, purchases become a way to prove your worth, to others and to yourself. But external validation through possessions is unstable. It requires constant reinforcement. So you keep buying, hoping the next item will finally make you feel enough. Instant gratification versus long-term goals. Emotional spending prioritizes the present over the future. It's immediate relief at the cost of long-term stability. You're choosing to feel better now, even if it sabotages your financial goals. This isn't stupidity, it's biology. The emotional brain is faster and louder than the rational brain. When stress hits, emotion wins. Avoidance of deeper issues. Emotional spending is often a symptom of unresolved issues: unfulfilling work, toxic relationships, lack of purpose, or suppressed emotions. The spending distracts you from addressing what's actually wrong. It keeps you busy, numb, and stuck. Real change requires facing the root cause, not medicating with purchases. The shame spiral. After emotional spending comes guilt. Guilt creates more emotional distress. More distress triggers more spending. The cycle becomes self-reinforcing. You spend to feel better. You feel worse. You spend again. Breaking the cycle requires interrupting it with awareness and replacing the behavior with healthier coping mechanisms. The formula looks like this. Trigger emotion, stress, boredom, inadequacy. Impulse to buy, temporary relief. Guilt and financial stress. Repeat. Emotional spending isn't a willpower problem. It's an emotional regulation problem. The solution isn't budgeting harder. It's understanding what you're really seeking and finding healthier ways to meet that need. 3 real-life scenarios. Stress shopping. Trigger, overwhelming day at work. Feels burned out. Old pattern, opens shopping app. Buys clothes, temporary relief. Regret the next day. New pattern, recognizes stress, goes for a walk. Journals, calls a friend. Addresses the feeling without spending. Boredom buying. Trigger, Sunday evening, nothing to do. Feels restless. Old pattern, scrolls online stores for hours. Buys random items just to feel something. New pattern, keeps a list of free activities, reads, exercises, creates, fills boredom with meaning, not purchases. Comparison spending. Trigger, sees friends' vacation photos, feels behind in life. Old pattern, books an expensive trip on credit to keep up. New pattern, acknowledges envy, reframes. I'm on my own timeline, I'll travel when it's right for me. Reward spending. Trigger, finished a big project, feels proud. Old pattern, I deserve this. Buys something expensive as a reward, blows budget. New pattern, celebrates with free or low-cost rewards. Favorite meal at home, nature walk, quality time with loved ones. Emotional void filling. Trigger, feels lonely, disconnected, or empty. Old pattern, buys things to fill the void. Briefly feels better. Void remains. New pattern, identifies the real need. Connection, purpose, rest. Addresses it directly. Identity shopping. Trigger, feels insecure about image or status. Old pattern, buys expensive brands to feel worthy. New pattern, rebuilds self-worth internally. I am enough without these things. 4. Scripts. What to say, what to think. I do not spend to escape emotion. I feel my feelings without numbing them. Purchases do not fix what's broken inside. I am learning healthier ways to regulate my emotions. Before I buy, I pause and ask, what am I really seeking? I do not use money to avoid discomfort. I am worthy without the things I own. Relief from spending is temporary. Regret is lasting. I address the root, not the symptom. I protect my financial future by honoring my emotional needs. 5. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Emotion spending log. For 30 days before any non-essential purchase, write down, what am I feeling right now? What need am I trying to meet? This builds awareness, the first step to breaking the pattern. Exercise 2. 48-hour rule. Delay all non-essential purchases by 48 hours. Add to cart but don't buy. Revisit in 2 days. Most urges will pass. This interrupts the impulse loop. Exercise 3. Replacement ritual. Create a list of free emotional regulation tools. Walking, journaling, calling a friend. Breathing exercises, creative work. When the urge to spend arises, choose one of these instead. Exercise 4. Trigger mapping. Identify your top 3 emotional spending triggers, write them down, then write alternative responses for each. When trigger hits, use the alternative. Exercise 5. Financial self-compassion practice. If you slip and emotionally spend, practice self-compassion instead of shame. I'm human. I'm learning. This doesn't define me. Shame fuels the cycle. Compassion breaks it. Chapter 6. Financial Boundaries, How to Stop Being Used. 1. Micro story. Carlos is 31 years old. He has a decent job, no debt, and a small savings account. On paper, he should be stable, but he's always broke. Not because he overspends, because he can't say no. His brother needs $500 for rent. Again. His cousin asked for a loan to fix his car. His mother guilt trips him. After everything I've done for you, you can't help me with this? A friend from college messages out of nowhere. Hey man, I'm in a tough spot. Can you spot me 200? Carlos says yes every time. Not because he wants to. Because he feels like he has to. He tells himself it's temporary. They'll pay him back. But they never do. And even when they promise to, something always comes up. The debt is forgotten. The relationship continues. Until the next ask. Carlos lies awake at night, stressed about his own bills. He's angry, resentful. But he doesn't say anything. Because saying no feels selfish. Saying no feels cruel. Saying no feels like betrayal. So he keeps giving. And he keeps sinking. One day his savings account hits zero. He needs money for an emergency and realizes he gave it all away. There's no one to call, no one to help him, because the people he's been supporting can't support him back. That's when it finally hits. Generosity without boundaries isn't love. It's self-destruction. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Financial boundaries are not about being selfish. They're about protecting your ability to build a stable life. Without boundaries, you become a resource for everyone else and neglect yourself. Here's why setting financial boundaries is so hard and so necessary. Guilt as a weapon. Family and friends often weaponize guilt. I raised you. I was there for you. Blood is thicker than water. They frame your boundary as betrayal, ingratitude, or cruelty. But guilt is manipulation. Real love doesn't demand financial self-destruction. Setting a boundary isn't abandonment. It's self-preservation. People-pleasing and approval. Many people give money to avoid conflict or rejection. They fear being seen as selfish, cold, or uncaring. They prioritize others' comfort over their own stability. But people-pleasing is exhausting and unsustainable. You can't buy love, loyalty, or respect. And those who only value you for what you give aren't truly in your corner. Cultural and family conditioning. In many cultures, financial support of family is expected, even demanded. Refusing is seen as shameful or disrespectful. This conditioning runs deep. But culture doesn't pay your bills. Tradition doesn't secure your future. You can honor your family without destroying your finances. Boundaries and respect can coexist. The savior complex. Some people give because they need to feel needed. Helping others gives them identity, purpose, and validation. But this creates codependency. You enable others' financial dysfunction while neglecting your own growth. Real help empowers others to stand on their own. Chronic rescue keeps them dependent. And you drained. Unclear boundaries. Create resentment. When you don't set boundaries, you build resentment. You give when you don't want to. You feel used. You're angry, but you don't speak up. This poisons relationships. Clear boundaries, communicated with love, actually protect relationships. They prevent resentment and create mutual respect. Financial boundaries are self-respect. Saying no to a request you can't afford isn't selfish. It's responsible. You're not obligated to financially rescue everyone around you. You're allowed to prioritize your stability, your goals, and your future. Boundaries are an act of self-respect. They communicate, I matter. My financial health matters. and I will not sacrifice it to avoid discomfort. The cost of no boundaries. Without financial boundaries, you stay broke, stressed, and resentful. You can't invest. You can't save. You can't build wealth. You remain trapped in a cycle of giving, guilt, and financial instability. Meanwhile, those you help rarely appreciate it long term. They just come back for more. The pattern looks like this. Request for money, guilt or obligation. Give despite inability. Financial strain, resentment, no repayment. Repeat. Breaking the cycle requires clarity, courage, and the willingness to be misunderstood. Not everyone will like your boundaries. That's okay. Your financial future is more important than temporary approval. 3. Real-life scenarios. Family loan request. Old response, of course, family comes first, gives money, never sees it again. Resents silently. Boundary response. I care about you, but I'm not in a position to lend money right now. Let's explore other options together. Guilt-tripping parent. Old response caves under guilt, gives money, sacrifices own needs, feels used. Boundary response, I love you and I want to help, but I need to protect my own financial stability. I can support in other ways. Friend asking for bailout. Old response lends money to avoid awkwardness. Friend disappears. Friendship becomes transactional. Boundary response, I don't lend money to friends, it protects the relationship, but I'm here to support you emotionally. Repeat offender. Old response, same person asks repeatedly, always says yes, gets taken advantage of. Boundary response, I've helped before and it wasn't repaid. I can't continue this pattern. Cultural expectation. Old response, feels obligated to send money home, struggles to build own life. Boundary response, I'll contribute what I can afford without compromising my stability. My financial health benefits the family long term. Enabling behavior. Old response, constantly bails someone out. They never learn financial responsibility. Boundary response, I care about you, but I'm not helping you avoid consequences. Let's figure out a sustainable solution. 4. Scripts. What to say, what to think. No is a complete sentence. I can care about you without financing you. Protecting my financial health is not selfish. I will not set myself on fire to keep others warm. Boundaries are love, for myself and for the relationship. I do not owe anyone my financial security. Guilt is not a reason to give. I help in ways that don't destroy my future. Real relationships survive boundaries. I respect myself enough to say no. 5. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Boundary audit. List everyone who has asked you for money in the past 2 years. Write how much, whether it was repaid, and how it affected you. This reveals patterns and helps you see where boundaries are needed. Exercise 2. Script practice. Write 3 boundary scripts for common requests in your life. Practice saying them out loud until they feel natural. Confidence comes from rehearsal. Exercise 3. Guilt journal. When guilt arises after setting a boundary, write it down. Ask, is this guilt justified or is it conditioning? Separate real responsibility from manipulation. Exercise 4. Financial priorities list. Create a list of your financial goals, savings, investment, debt payoff, future plans. When someone asks for money, check the list. Ask, does this request align with my priorities? Exercise 5. Support without money. Identify 5 ways to support loved ones without giving money. Emotional support, advice, time, resources, connections. Practice offering these instead. Chapter 7. Wealth habits. The simple behaviors that create freedom. Micro story. Two friends, both 25 years old, start their first real jobs on the same day. Same salary, $50,000 a year, same city, same cost of living. The first Kevin celebrates by upgrading his lifestyle. New apartment, new car, eating out constantly. He enjoys his money. I work hard, he says. I deserve to enjoy it. The second Nina keeps her old habits. She lives with a roommate. She cooks most meals. She sets up automatic transfers, 10% to savings, 5% to investment. She barely notices the money leaving her account. It just happens. Kevin feels rich. Nina feels normal. 10 years later, Kevin earns $75,000. He still feels broke. He has debt, no savings. He's stressed about money constantly. Every expense feels like a crisis. Nina earns $80,000. She has $60,000 saved. She has investments growing in the background. She feels calm about money. She has options. She has freedom. What happened? Kevin made more decisions. Nina built better systems. Kevin relied on discipline every single day. Nina automated wealth. Wealth isn't built by grand gestures. It's built by small, consistent, intelligent habits, repeated so often they become invisible. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Wealth habits are the daily behaviors that compound over time into financial freedom. They're not exciting. They're not dramatic, but they're devastatingly effective. Here's how they work and why they matter more than income. Automation. Over willpower. Willpower is finite. It runs out. Habits, especially automated ones, don't require willpower. When savings, investing, and bill payments happen automatically, you remove the decision. The behavior happens whether you feel like it or not. Automation turns intention into inevitability. Pay yourself. First. Most people save what's left over at the end of the month. There's never anything left. Wealth builders reverse the order: save and invest first, then spend what remains. This ensures that your future is funded before your present consumes everything. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. The power of small percentages. Saving 10 to 20% of your income doesn't feel like much in the moment, but over years it compounds into security, options, and freedom. A $50,000 salary with 15% saved, $7,500 a year becomes $75,000 in 10 years, without interest. Add compound growth from investing and the numbers multiply. Small percentages repeated consistently become life-changing. Spending consciousness. Wealth habits include knowing where your money goes, not obsessively, not restrictively, but consciously. You track, you review, you notice patterns. This awareness prevents leaks, the $10 subscriptions you forgot about, the 200-month on takeout you didn't realize, the impulse buys that add up to thousands annually. Consciousness creates control. Delayed gratification. Wealth habits prioritize long-term gain over short-term pleasure. You don't buy the thing today because you're building the life tomorrow. This doesn't mean deprivation. It means intentionality. You spend on what truly matters. You delay or eliminate what doesn't. Delayed gratification is the price of freedom. Investing is non-negotiable. Saving preserves wealth. Investing grows it. Wealth builders treat investing like a bill, non-negotiable, automatic, consistent. They don't wait for extra money. They don't time the market. They invest a fixed percentage every month regardless of conditions. Time in the market beats timing the market. Consistency beats perfection. Living below your means. This is the most unsexy, most ignored, most powerful wealth habit. You earn $70,000. You live on $50,000. The gap is your wealth-building engine. Most people inflate lifestyle with income. Raises disappear into bigger apartments, nicer cars, fancier dinners. Wealth builders keep lifestyle stable and bank the difference. The wider the gap, the faster you build freedom. Financial review ritual. Wealth builders check in regularly, weekly or monthly. They review spending, savings, investments, and goals. This isn't stressful. It's empowering. It keeps them aligned. It prevents drift. 5 minutes a week can save years of financial chaos. Continuous financial education. Wealth habits include learning, reading books, listening to podcasts, taking courses, understanding taxes, investing, cash flow, and leverage. Ignorance is expensive. Knowledge compounds. The more you know, the better decisions you make. Over decades, this creates exponential advantage. The formula looks like this. Automate savings and investing. Live below means, track spending, invest consistently, educate continuously, compound over time. Financial freedom. Wealth habits aren't glamorous, but they're reliable. They don't require talent, luck, or a high income. They require consistency, patience, and the willingness to prioritize future freedom over present comfort. 3 real-life scenarios. Automating savings. Old habit. I'll save whatever's left at the end of the month. Nothing is ever left. Wealth habit. Automatic transfer of 15% to savings on payday. Doesn't see it. Doesn't miss it. Grows steadily. Tracking spending. Old habit. Swipes card freely. No idea where money goes. Always surprised by low balance. Wealth habit. Reviews spending weekly. Catches leaks. Adjusts. Stays in control. Lifestyle inflation. Old habit. Gets a raise. Immediately upgrades apartment, car, wardrobe. No financial progress. Wealth habit. Gets a raise. Keeps lifestyle the same. Invests the difference. Freedom accelerates. Impulse buying. Old habit. Sees something, wants it, buys it, regrets it. Wealth habit sees something, waits 48 hours. Decides with clarity, not impulse. Investment consistency. Old habit. I'll invest when I have extra money. Never invests. Wealth habit. Invests $200 every month no matter what. Builds wealth invisibly. Financial check-in. Old habit. Avoids looking at finances, feels anxious and powerless. Wealth habit. Reviews accounts every Sunday, feels informed and in control. 4 scripts. What to say, what to think. Wealth is built through habits, not income. I automate my financial future. I pay myself first always. I live below my means and invest the difference. Small actions repeated daily create financial freedom. I track my money with clarity, not judgment. Consistency beats intensity. I delay gratification because I value my future. I treat investing like a bill, non-negotiable. My habits today shape my freedom tomorrow. 5 practical exercises. Exercise. 1. Automation setup. This week, set up automatic transfers for savings and investing. Choose a percentage, 10%, 15%, 20%. Schedule it for payday. Remove the decision. Let it happen in the background. Exercise 2. Spending audit. Review the last 3 months of spending. Categorize it. Essentials, investments, joy, waste. Identify one category to reduce by 20%. Redirect that money towards savings or investment. Exercise 3. Lifestyle baseline lock. Write down your current monthly expenses. Commit to keeping them at this level for the next 2 years, even as income rises. Bank every raise and bonus. Exercise 4. Weekly financial check-in. Set a recurring 10-minute calendar event every Sunday. Review balances, spending, and progress toward goals. Make it a ritual. Keep it simple. Exercise 5. 90-day learning challenge. Commit to consuming one piece of financial education weekly for 90 days. Book, podcast, article, or video. Track what you learn. Apply one insight each month. Knowledge compounds. Chapter 8. The psychology of earning more. One micro story. Two graphic designers sit across from potential clients. Both have similar portfolios, similar experience, similar skills. The first designer, Rachel, is asked, "What do you charge?" She hesitates. Her mind races. What if I ask too much? What if they say no? What if they think I'm not worth it? She stammers. I usually charge around $500 for a project like this, but I'm flexible." The client nods. "Okay, we'll pay $400. Rachel agrees. She feels relieved. At least she got the job, but also frustrated. She knows she undercharged. Again. The second designer, Jordan, is asked the same question. He doesn't hesitate. "For a project of this scope, my rate is $2,000. The client pauses. "That's higher than we expected." Jordan stays calm. "I understand. Let me walk you through the value I bring and what's included." He explains his process, his results, the transformation clients experience. He's confident, clear, unapologetic. The client agrees. $2,000 it is. Same skills, same market, different psychology, different income. Rachel earned $400 because she didn't believe she was worth more. Jordan earned $2,000 because he did. Earning more isn't just about skill, it's about belief, confidence, and the courage to ask for what you're worth. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. The psychology of earning more is rarely about ability. It's about self-worth, confidence, positioning, and the willingness to advocate for yourself. Here's what separates high earners from those who stay stuck, regardless of talent. Self-worth dictates income. You will rarely earn more than you believe you're worth. If you see yourself as just okay, you'll charge just okay rates. If you believe you're exceptional, you'll price yourself accordingly. Your income is a reflection of your internal valuation. Raise your self-worth, and your earning potential rises with it. Confidence is pricing power. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's certainty in your value. When you're confident, you don't apologize for your rates, you don't discount preemptively, you don't shrink when someone questions your price. Confidence communicates, "I know what I bring, take it or leave it." Clients sense this. Confidence attracts higher-paying opportunities. Insecurity repels them. The fear of rejection. Most people underprice because they fear rejection. They'd rather guarantee the yes at a lower rate than risk the no at a higher one. But rejection isn't failure. It's filtering. Every no from someone who won't pay your rate brings you closer to a yes from someone who will. High earners aren't afraid of rejection. They expect it. They use it to find the right clients. Value perception. Over hours worked. Low earners think in hours. I work 10 hours, so I'll charge for 10 hours. High earners think in value. This solution saves the client $50,000, I'll charge $10,000. Value-based pricing disconnects income from time. It allows you to earn more by delivering transformation, not just labor. The question isn't, how long did this take? It's, what is this worth to the client? Anchoring and positioning. When you name your price first, you set the anchor. If you say $5,000, the negotiation starts there. If you say $500, you've already capped yourself. High earners anchor high and negotiate down if needed. Low earners anchor low and get pushed lower. Positioning matters. How you frame your offer, your expertise, and your results determines how much people are willing to pay. The willingness to walk away. Desperation kills earning potential. When you need the client, you'll accept anything. When you're willing to walk away, you negotiate from power. High earners have options, or at least act like they do. They don't chase, they don't beg, they present their value and let the client decide. This detachment paradoxically attracts better opportunities. Negotiation is standard practice. High earners negotiate everything: salary, rates, terms, scope. They don't accept the first offer, they counter. They ask for more. They know that most initial offers have room to move. Low earners accept the first number out of fear, gratitude, or ignorance. They leave thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, on the table over a career. Visibility and market positioning. You can't earn more if no one knows you exist. High earners invest in visibility, personal branding, networking, content creation, referrals. They position themselves as experts, not commodities. They're seen, trusted, and sought after. Invisibility caps income. Visibility expands it. Continuous skill and credential building. Earning more requires staying valuable. High earners invest in education, certifications, and skills that increase their market rate. They don't stagnate. They evolve. They stay ahead. The more rare and valuable your skills, the more you can charge. Mindset of abundance. High earners operate from abundance. They believe there are plenty of clients, opportunities, and money. This belief allows them to be selective, to charge premium rates, and to walk away from bad deals. Scarcity mindset forces you to accept less. Abundance mindset allows you to demand more. The formula looks like this: belief in value, confidence in pricing, clear positioning, willingness to negotiate and walk away. Higher income. Earning more isn't about working harder. It's about believing you're worth more, communicating that value clearly, and having the courage to ask. 3. Real-life scenarios. Salary negotiation. Low earner. Accepts first offer. I'm just grateful they want me. High earner counters. Based on my experience and market research, I'm looking for X. Can we get closer to that? Freelance rate setting. Low earner. I charge 25 hour. I hope that's okay. High earner. My project rate is 3,000, which includes strategy, execution, and 2 rounds of revisions. Asking for a raise. Low earner. Waits for employer to offer, never asks. Stays underpaid for years. High earner schedules a meeting, presents value, results, market data. Asks directly. Handling price objections. Low earner client says, "That's expensive." Immediately drops price. High earner client says, "That's expensive." Responds, "Let me clarify the value and ROI you'll receive." Choosing clients. Low earner takes every job, overworks for underpriced clients, burns out. High earner says no to low-paying work, focuses on clients who value and pay well. Building market presence. Low earner, invisible, waits for opportunities to find them. High earner, shares expertise, builds credibility, opportunities come to them. 4. Scripts. What to say, what to think. I am worth what I charge and more. I do not apologize for my rates. I charge based on value, not time. Rejection is filtering, not failure. I negotiate, always. I am willing to walk away from bad deals. Confidence attracts opportunity. I invest in skills that increase my earning power. High earners ask, I ask. I am seen, valued, and compensated accordingly. 5. Practical exercises. Exercise. 1. Rate audit. List your current rates or salary. Research what top performers in your field charge. Identify the gap. Write a plan to close it within 12 months. Exercise 2. Value inventory. Write down 10 ways you create value for clients or employers. Quantify results when possible. Use this list in negotiations and positioning. Exercise 3. Negotiation role play. Practice negotiating out loud. Script objections and responses. Rehearse until you're comfortable asking for more without flinching. Exercise 4. Anchor high challenge. Next time you're asked your rate, add 25% to what you'd normally say. See what happens. Even if you negotiate down, you'll land higher than your old baseline. Exercise 5. Visibility plan. Commit to one visibility action per week for 90 days. LinkedIn post, portfolio update, networking coffee, case study, referral request. Earning more requires being seen. Chapter 9. Rewiring Your Mind for Wealth. Micro story: for years, Thomas believed he wasn't a money person. Numbers stressed him out. Investing felt risky. Wealth seemed like something other people achieved, people smarter, luckier, more connected than him. He worked hard, earned decently, but money slipped through his hands. He'd look at his account and wonder where it all went. Saving felt impossible. Investing felt irresponsible. He told himself, "I'm just not wired for wealth." One day, a coworker who earned less than him mentioned casually that he'd just hit $100,000 in investments. Thomas was shocked. "How?" His coworker shrugged. "I just started. Small amounts. Automated it. Stopped thinking about it." That moment cracked something open in Thomas. His coworker wasn't special. He wasn't a finance genius. He just believed it was possible and acted accordingly. Thomas realized the only difference between them wasn't ability, it was belief. He decided to test it. He started reading about money, 15 minutes a day. He automated 100 month into an index fund. He tracked his spending without judgment. He repeated daily, "I am someone who builds wealth." It felt awkward at first, like lying to himself. But 6 months later, something shifted. He didn't stress about money as much. He felt more in control. His account was growing slowly but visibly. A year later, he had $2,500 invested. 3 years later, $15,000. He wasn't rich, but he wasn't the same person. His mind had rewired. He'd become someone who builds wealth, not because he inherited it, but because he chose it. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Your brain is not fixed. It's plastic, meaning it can change, adapt, and rewire based on repeated thought patterns and behaviors. Rewiring your mind for wealth means intentionally replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones and reinforcing them until they become your new baseline. Here's how mental reprogramming works. Neuroplasticity and repetition. Every thought you think strengthens a neural pathway. Repeat a thought enough times and it becomes automatic, a belief. If you've spent years thinking, "I'm bad with money," that pathway is deep. But you can build a new one. The tool is repetition. Say, think, and act as if you're good with money, daily, consistently, relentlessly. Over time, the new pathway becomes stronger than the old one. The old belief fades. The new belief takes over. Identity shift as foundation. You don't become wealthy by trying harder. You become wealthy by becoming someone for whom wealth is natural. This is identity level change. Instead of "I want to be rich," it's "I am someone who builds wealth." The former is a goal. The latter is identity. Identity drives behavior automatically. When you see yourself as a wealth builder, you naturally make wealth-building decisions. Affirmations with evidence. Affirmations alone don't work if your subconscious rejects them. Saying "I am wealthy" while living in debt creates cognitive dissonance. Instead, use affirmations tied to evidence. I am learning to manage money wisely. I saved $500 this month. I am becoming financially intelligent. These feel true, so your brain accepts them. Acceptance creates change. Visualization and mental rehearsal. Your brain treats vivid imagination like real experience. Visualize yourself making smart financial decisions, negotiating confidently, watching your investments grow. Do this daily, with emotion, with detail. Over time, your subconscious begins to believe this is who you are. Visualization primes behavior. Behavior creates results. Behavioral proof. Builds belief. Beliefs follow behavior, not the other way around. You don't wait to believe you're disciplined before acting disciplined. You act disciplined first, Then belief follows. Save $50, invest $100, track your spending for a week. Each small action is proof. Proof builds belief. Belief reinforces action. The cycle compounds. Environment is programming. Your environment constantly programs your subconscious. If you're surrounded by people who overspend, complain about money, and avoid financial responsibility, that becomes your norm. Change your environment. Follow financially disciplined people. Read wealth-building content. Join communities that value financial growth. Your environment shapes your identity faster than willpower ever will. Challenging limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs feel like facts. Rich people are greedy. Money is hard to make. I'll never be wealthy. But they're not facts. They're stories. Challenge them. Ask, is this true? Where did I learn this? Does this belief serve me? Replace each limiting belief with an empowering alternative. Write it, speak it, live it. Emotional regulation and money. Wealth building requires emotional control. Panic selling, impulse buying, avoidance. These are emotional reactions, not rational decisions. Rewiring your mind means training yourself to pause, breathe, and respond, not react. Emotional regulation turns chaos into clarity. Clarity builds wealth. Patience and long-term thinking. Rewiring takes time. You won't believe you're wealthy overnight, but if you show up daily, reading, learning, saving, investing, affirming, you will change. Neuroplasticity is slow but inevitable. Trust the process. Believe in compounding, not just financially but mentally. The formula looks like this. New thought, I am capable with money. Repeated daily. Behavior aligns, saving, learning, investing. Results appear, balance grows. Belief strengthens, identity shifts, wealth becomes natural. Rewiring your mind for wealth is not wishful thinking. It's neurological transformation, and it's available to anyone willing to commit to the process. 3 real-life scenarios. Morning affirmation practice. Old pattern, wakes up, checks phone, doom scrolls, feels anxious. New pattern, wakes up, speaks affirmation. I am financially intelligent and building wealth daily. Sets mental tone for the day. Financial decision. Pause. Old pattern, sees something online, buys impulsively, regrets later. New pattern, sees something, pauses, asks, would my wealthy self make this choice? Decides with clarity. Learning ritual. Old pattern, avoids financial topics. I don't understand this stuff. New pattern, reads 10 minutes daily about investing, budgeting, or wealth psychology. Brain rewires through exposure. Evidence journal. Old pattern, focuses on lack. I never have enough. New pattern, writes 3 financial wins weekly. I saved $200. I negotiated a better rate. I resisted impulse buying. Trains brain to see progress. Identity reminder. Old pattern. I'm bad with money, I always have been. New pattern. I'm learning, I'm improving, I'm becoming someone who manages wealth wisely. Shifts from fixed to growth mindset. Visualization before sleep. Old pattern, falls asleep stressed about money. New pattern, spends 5 minutes visualizing financial stability, smart decisions, growing investments. Subconscious absorbs during sleep. 4 scripts, what to say, what to think. I am rewiring my relationship with money. I am capable of learning anything, including financial intelligence. My past does not define my financial future. I am becoming someone who builds wealth naturally. Every small action is proof of my transformation. I choose thoughts that serve my financial growth. Wealth is learnable. I am learning. I release limiting beliefs that no longer serve me. My mind is flexible. I am reprogramming it daily. I trust the process. Change is happening even when invisible. 5 practical exercises. Exercise 1. Belief replacement protocol. Write down 5 limiting beliefs about money. For each, write an empowering replacement. Read the new beliefs aloud every morning for 60 days. Exercise 2. Daily affirmation plus action. Choose one wealth-affirming statement. Say it every morning, then take one small action that proves it. Example: I am disciplined with money. Transfer $20 to savings. Exercise 3. Financial identity vision. Write a detailed description of your financial identity 5 years from now. Who are you? How do you think? What habits do you have? Read this weekly. Let it guide decisions. Exercise 4. Evidence collection. Create a document titled Proof I'm Changing. Every week add evidence: money saved, lessons learned, smart decisions made. Review monthly. Celebrate progress. Exercise 5. 30-day visualization challenge. Every night before sleep, spend 5 minutes visualizing yourself as financially capable, calm, and growing. Use all senses, make it vivid. Let your subconscious absorb it. Chapter 10. Building Your Financial Freedom Blueprint 1. Micro story. 5 years ago, Sophia was drowning. $18,000 in credit card debt, no savings, living paycheck to paycheck. Every month felt like a crisis. She'd tried budgeting apps. She'd read financial advice articles. She'd promised herself she'd change, again and again. Nothing stuck. Then one night, sitting alone in her apartment, she asked herself a different question. Not, how do I get out of debt? But who do I need to become to be free? She realized she didn't need another tip. She needed a blueprint, a clear, step-by-step system that addressed her psychology, her habits, and her identity, not just her numbers. So she built one. She started with her beliefs. She wrote down every limiting thought about money and replaced it with an empowering one. She read them aloud daily. She addressed her emotional spending. She identified her triggers: stress, boredom, loneliness, and created healthier responses. She set financial boundaries. She stopped lending money she couldn't afford to lose. She said no without guilt. She built wealth habits. She automated savings. She tracked spending. She invested small amounts consistently. She worked on earning more. She negotiated a raise. She started freelancing on the side, and she rewired her mind. Every day, she affirmed, I am financially free. I make smart decisions. I build wealth intelligently. It wasn't fast, it wasn't glamorous, but it was consistent. 3 years later, her debt was gone. She had $12,000 saved. She had investments growing. She felt calm about money for the first time in her life. Today, Sophia is financially free, not because she won the lottery, but because she became someone for whom financial freedom was inevitable. Her blueprint worked. And now, you're going to build yours. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Financial freedom is not an accident. It's the result of intentional design, a blueprint that integrates psychology, habits, systems, and identity. This chapter ties everything together and gives you a framework to build lasting wealth. Here's how to construct your financial freedom blueprint. Step 1. Identify your current financial identity. Who are you with money right now? Avoider, spender, hoarder, chaotic? Be honest, no judgment. This is your starting point. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Write it down. Own it. This is where transformation begins. Step 2. Define your wealthy identity. Who do you need to become to achieve financial freedom? Disciplined, strategic, confident, calm, educated. Write a detailed description of your wealthy self. How do they think? How do they act? What habits do they have? This becomes your North Star, the identity you're building toward. Step 3. Audit and rewire your beliefs. List every belief you have about money. Circle the ones that limit you. Replace them with empowering alternatives. Repeat the new beliefs daily. Beliefs shape behavior. Behavior creates results. Change the beliefs. Change the outcomes. Step 4. Address emotional and psychological blocks. Identify your triggers for self-sabotage, emotional spending, and avoidance. What emotions drive poor financial decisions? Stress, shame, fear, inadequacy? Create healthier coping mechanisms. Replace spending with journaling, movement, or connection. Heal the root, not the symptom. Step 5. Establish financial boundaries. Decide who gets access to your money and who doesn't. Write boundary scripts. Practice saying no. Protect your financial health like you protect your physical health. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're essential. Step 6. Build automated wealth habits. Set up automatic savings and investment transfers. Choose percentages that stretch you slightly but don't break you, 10%, 15%, 20%. Automate bill payments, remove decision fatigue. Let systems do the work. Step 7. Track, review, and adjust. Schedule a weekly 10-minute financial check-in. Review balances, spending, and progress. Celebrate wins, notice leaks. Adjust as needed. Tracking creates awareness. Awareness creates control. Step 8. Increase earning potential. Invest in skills, visibility, and positioning. Negotiate salary and rates. Build a side income. Learn to ask for what you're worth. Earning more accelerates every other step. Don't cap your income with limiting beliefs. Step 9. Invest for long-term growth. Educate yourself on investing. Start small. Stay consistent. Don't try to time the market, just stay in it. Let compound growth work in the background. Wealth isn't built by saving alone, it's built by growing money intelligently. Step 10. Commit to lifelong financial education. Read, listen, learn. Financial literacy is not a one-time lesson, it's a lifelong practice. The more you know, the better decisions you make. Knowledge compounds faster than money. Step 11. Cultivate patience and long-term vision. Financial freedom is not built in weeks or months, it's built over years. Stay patient, trust the process. Small, consistent actions compound into massive results. The blueprint works if you work it. The formula looks like this: clear identity, plus empowering beliefs, plus emotional regulation, plus strong boundaries, plus automated systems, plus consistent earning and investing, plus lifelong learning, plus patience. Financial freedom. This isn't theory, this is a battle-tested framework. Build it, follow it, adjust it as you grow. Your financial freedom is not a dream, it's a blueprint away. 3 real-life scenarios. Blueprint in action. Debt elimination. Old approach. Feels overwhelmed. Avoids looking at debt. Pays minimums. Stays stuck. Blueprint approach. Faces debt. Creates payoff plan. Automates extra payments. Tracks progress monthly. Celebrates milestones. Debt-free in 3 years. Blueprint in action. Building savings. Old approach. I'll save what's left. Nothing is ever left. Blueprint approach. Automates 15% to savings on payday. Treats it like a bill. Saves $9,000 in 1 year. Blueprint in action. Career growth. Old approach. Waits for raises. Accepts whatever is offered. Income stagnates. Blueprint approach. Researches market rates. Negotiates confidently. Builds side income. Doubles income in 5 years. Blueprint in action. Emotional spending. Old approach. Shops when stressed. Racks up debt. Feels shame. Repeats. Blueprint approach. Identifies triggers. Replaces shopping with healthier outlets. Tracks urges. Breaks the cycle. Blueprint in action. Investing. Old approach. I'll invest when I have extra money. Never starts. Blueprint approach. Invests 100-month automatically, learns as they go, portfolio grows steadily. Blueprint in action, financial boundaries. Old approach, lends money constantly, resents it, stays broke. Blueprint approach, sets clear boundaries, says no with love, protects financial health, relationships improve. 4 scripts, what to say, what to think. I am the architect of my financial future. My blueprint is clear, my actions are consistent. Financial freedom is not luck, it's design. I follow my system even when I don't feel like it. I am patient, I am disciplined, I am inevitable. Every small action moves me closer to freedom. I trust my blueprint, I trust the process. Wealth is built daily, not dramatically. I am becoming the person financial freedom flows to naturally. This is not a sprint. This is my life's work, and I'm committed. 5. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Write your financial freedom blueprint. Use the 11 steps outlined in this chapter. Write your personalized plan. Make it specific. Date it. Commit to it. Review it monthly. Adjust as you grow. Exercise 2. 90-day financial sprint. Choose 3 habits from your blueprint. Commit to them for 90 days. Track daily, no exceptions. Prove to yourself that you can follow through. Exercise 3. Identity declaration ritual. Every morning for the next year, read your wealthy identity statement aloud. Let it sink in. Act from that identity all day. Watch your reality shift. Exercise 4. Quarterly financial review. Every 3 months, sit down and review savings, debt, investments, income, spending, and goals. Celebrate progress. Identify gaps. Adjust the blueprint. Exercise 5. Financial freedom vision board. Create a visual representation of your financial goals. Not materialistic fantasies. Real freedom markers, debt-free, 6-month emergency fund, investment portfolio, passive income. Look at it daily. Let it guide decisions. Conclusion. You didn't come to this audiobook looking for tips. You came looking for transformation. You came because you're tired of the stress, the guilt, the shame, and the fear that surrounds money. You're tired of working hard and still feeling broke. You're tired of sabotaging yourself and not understanding why. You're tired of watching others build wealth while you stay stuck, not because you're incapable, but because something invisible has been holding you back. That something is psychology. Money is not a math problem, it's an emotional, psychological, identity-level challenge. And now you understand that. You've learned how scarcity programming was installed in your mind and how to uninstall it. You've discovered why you self-sabotage, how emotional spending works, and why financial boundaries are non-negotiable. You've seen the difference between the scarcity identity and the wealth identity. You've learned that earning more isn't about talent, it's about belief, positioning, and the courage to ask. You've been given the tools to rewire your mind, automate wealth habits, and build a financial freedom blueprint that works. But knowledge alone changes nothing. It's what you do next that matters. The truth is, most people will finish this audiobook, feel inspired for a day or two, and then return to their old patterns. They'll say, "That was interesting," and do nothing. They'll wait for the perfect moment, the right circumstances, the extra motivation. Don't be most people. Start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Pick one belief to challenge. Set up one automated transfer. Write down your financial identity. Track your spending for 1 week. Say no to one request that violates your boundaries. Take one small action that proves you're changing. Transformation doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens in 1,000 small decisions repeated over months and years until the person you're becoming is unrecognizable from the person you were. You are not broken. You are not doomed to financial struggle. You were simply running old programming you didn't choose and didn't know was there. But now you see it. And what you see, you can change. Financial freedom is not reserved for the lucky, the privileged, or the naturally gifted. It's available to anyone willing to do the internal work. The belief shifts, the identity changes, the habit building, the boundary setting, the patience, and the discipline. You are capable of this, not someday, now. 5 years from now, you'll look back at this moment as the turning point, the day you stopped blaming circumstances and started building a new financial reality. The day you stopped being a victim of your psychology and became the architect of your wealth. Your financial freedom blueprint is in your hands. The only question left is, will you build it? The answer is up to you. Start small. Stay consistent. Trust the process. Believe in yourself. And remember, wealth is not about the money. It's about the freedom, the peace, and the person you become while building it. You've got this. Now go build the life you deserve. One disciplined, intelligent, empowered decision at a time. If this audiobook gave you clarity, hope, or a new path forward, consider liking this audio and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps this message reach others who need it. Stay calm, stay disciplined, and remember, true wealth begins in the mind. If this audiobook has brought you clarity, strength, or peace, consider supporting the channel so more people can find this message. Please like this audio and subscribe. Your support helps this work reach those who feel overwhelmed, anxious, or unprotected, and gives them a path back to calm, confidence, and emotional freedom. Thank you for listening. Stay grounded. Stay wise. You are the anchor in every storm.